Living abroad, it has its challenges, but with them comes the reward of being a global citizen with a greater appreciation for those who live differently. In her new book, Circling Home, What I Learned from Living Elsewhere, Seattle author Terry Repak chronicles the adventures and challenges of raising children and finding a home on the African continent, especially during the height of the AIDS epidemic. What an incredible story you have. I'm so glad you put pen to paper.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Terry. So let's talk about this. Take us back to 1993, the height of the AIDS pandemic in Africa. You and your husband decided to live abroad with your children there. What took you there?
My husband had a real love for Africa because he was born there, actually. And his parents were public health veterinarians who lived in Belgian Congo. So he always wanted to go back. I always wanted to live overseas because I had studied in the UK for a couple of years. And when he said, "Would you mind going to West Africa in 1993?" I was full of fear and trepidation,
sure, yeah.
and I had two children, small ones.
How old?
We had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Oh my goodness! I was hoping you were going to say, "Oh, they were 6 and 10."
No.
1 and 3 years. Look at
They were
are.
small.
And who was this they were standing with?
So this was our first friend when we moved to Abidjan in Ivory Coast. Adama was the guard at the house. All Americans connected with the American embassy had to have a guard 24/7.
Oh my goodness.
So this man was with us 12 hours a day, 6 days a week for a year. And we became very close to him.
I was going to say, become family at that point.
He really did. He played with the kids. He had 7 kids of his own, so he loved children.
Wow.
And he helped me with my French because it's a French-speaking country. So he was a wonderful man. Unfortunately, he died of AIDS after the first year.
Oh my goodness.
So that was wrenching.
I imagine. How did the kids deal with it? And what was it like for the kids overall living in a place that's completely foreign from what they in their little baby lives knew? The
hardest thing for our 3-year-old. The 1-year-old already, she was used to hearing languages, but our 3-year-old had never been in a French-speaking country. He was a very verbal child already.
I see.
So that was hard for him. But the kids didn't really register what was going on with the AIDS business and that some of our personnel, or the people around us
were dying.
Might be infected. Yeah,
right.
yeah. So that was our difficulty more than theirs.
That is really hard. So there you are in a country that is not your own, raising children during an epidemic. I got to imagine there were other challenges, though, to raising kids, finding schools. I mean, tell me about some of that.
The schools were easy. We stumbled upon a little preschool that was French-speaking in our neighborhood, and that allowed the kids to meet kids in the neighborhood. So that was the easy part. The harder part was the health issues. We were worried about malaria, all kinds of things that they could pick up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a lot. But beyond all that, there had to be incredible benefits as well.
There were. So one of the first things I did was to reach out to other women.
Nice.
And particularly expat women who had really kind of adapted to the culture. I knew the closest friend I made was a woman who had married an Ivorian man. And she welcomed us in for like holidays.
Aww.
She was very close. And that kind of helped a lot. And then I learned that I had to join groups, and I joined a professional women's group.
Nice.
I started tutoring kids in a local preschool, anything I could do to make contacts with people and make connections.
To make that family for yourself.
That's how I found home there, and that's how we kind of brought the kids into a lot of different circles.
It's so important. It's so important, and this advice and knowledge holds true today. That's why I'm so glad that you've written this book, Circling Home, 30 years later after raising the children who are grown. It's time for reflection, so tell me about the book.
Well, the book is really a chronicle of my journey from both an external journey in East and West Africa and all over Europe. We lived in Europe as well. But also my internal journey from a state of fear and apprehension for the kids, for our health and safety, to one of just profound appreciation for people who have different cultures, think differently, but were ready to embrace us and welcome us. And so we learned so much there, the kids especially.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing and coming on our show, Circling Home. It launches today, Thursday, September 14th. Terry will be at the University Bookstore tonight at 6 p.m. and we'll have more details on our website.